This is the plaintiff, Alfred Arnold. He says he took his Cadillac Escalade to the defendant's repair shop to get new tires. And the next day, he was going 70 on the highway and his rear tire flew off. That tire bounced right past him and into a river. He's lucky to be alive. And is suing this careless guy for the $4,210.07 he's owed. This is the defendant, Aaron Grace. He says the plaintiff wanted him to put aftermarket rims on his car. That's right. The plaintiff's car has 18-inch rims, but this guy wanted 24-inch rims because he liked the way they looked. He isn't responsible for aftermarket items. He did his job correctly, and there's no way he owes this guy over $4,000. He's accused of not tightening things up.
All parties, please raise your right hand. The People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Arnold, you are suing the auto center where you got some rims, represented here by Mr. Grace. Mm-hmm. You're the manager? Mm-hmm. Okay. For $4,210.07 that you say you are out as a result of their negligence. Tell me what happened.
That's it, Your Honor. On this particular day of May 9th of 2022, I went to the establishment to buy some rims and tires for my 2003 Escalade. I spoke to the gentleman who, I guess he puts on tires, and I told him what I wanted. And
what did you want?
I wanted 24s on my vehicle, which are proper for a Escalade of that year. I then, they told me they might have them, so he looked around. This is a junkyard. This is not a, high-flying establishment where they would sell.
Well, it was good enough for you, right?
Yeah, it was good enough for me.
Okay.
Anyway, they found a set of tires and rims to go on them. So they proceeded to put them on my vehicle. And if it pleases the court, I would like to...
Are you a lawyer? Just
well,
curious.
Your Honor, that's a very good question. In some jurisdictions, I would not be qualified as a lawyer. But for me, I'm a lawyer.
Wait, I don't know what that means. What do you mean in some jurisdictions you would not be qualified?
In all jurisdictions, I would not be considered a lawyer.
Okay, but to you, you're a lawyer?
To me, I'm a lawyer.
What does that mean?
That means that I've seen this show enough. Or
that you're now a lawyer?
That I know how to present.
You can skip law school?
Well, I skipped law school, yes.
Okay.
Does that make me a lawyer?
You're a lawyer. If anybody's a lawyer, you're a lawyer. All right, so you get the rims, you buy them from them and the tires in the junkyard, and they get put on your Escalade.
Yes.
And then what happens?
Well, they had trouble putting them on because they weren't designed for an Escalade. They were designed for a Yukon.
So the size is right, but the rims are not made for that Escalade.
Right. If I may please present Exhibit N. This is what the rim.
Let me see Exhibit N.
Like.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
And if you notice, it had those little things, right? And those circles there is where the lug nuts went in between those.
Did you know when he was selling them to you that they were rims that would go on a Yukon and not an Escalade?
Not at the time, no.
When did you learn that?
I learned that after the accident.
In any event, he puts the rims on your car and you leave, and what happens?
Well, they told me to take it down the street to see if it was okay because they had trouble getting the lug nuts on. Standard lug nuts didn't work. They had to go to AutoZone and buy big lug nut, long lug nuts, because they couldn't get in between those things there with the lug nuts. So they put them on. The next day, I'm driving down the interstate, 70 miles an hour, going across a bridge, and the back tire comes off.
Wasn't it wobbling before that?
No.
Didn't you have any?
I hadn't.
You didn't hear the as the lug nuts coming out?
I did not hear it.
You didn't feel it?
I had my radio on, so.
Yeah, but don't you feel it? Don't you feel the car going like that?
Not at the time that it came off, yes. Not prior to that, though.
Not even a second prior to it?
I don't recall, no, Your Honor. I don't
You don't recall or no?
No, I don't recall that it vibrated off.
So now, how is it that you know something's happened? What is it you feel?
What I feel is a loud bang as the car hits the pavement, as the tire comes off, and it comes past me and hits the embankment of the bridge and goes over the bridge down into the water.
Okay. Now,
so it took me, going at 70 miles an hour, it took me some time to get it stopped.
right.
And by the time I got it stopped, it had shaved half of the rotor off.
Okay. So you call the tow truck company.
I called the police, was the first people I called.
And do you have the tow truck? I have everything that you submitted to the court. I like seeing originals.
Okay.
So let me see the tow receipt.
This is Exhibit E, Your Honor.
Is that a copy or the original?
That is the original.
Okay. And let me see what you paid this company for the tires and the rims you bought from them. Okay, this is not the original because it says Exhibit E on it, and I know the original never said Exhibit E on it. Do you have the original?
That's a copy of the original. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. That's what every copy is, purportedly.
I didn't bring that with me.
Why wouldn't you bring the originals to court? What are you saving them for? I'm the guy you're saving them for. What day did you pick up the truck from? Is it a truck? The Escalade from
yes.
him?
On 5/9 is when I had the tires put on.
Let me see the receipt from them so I can see when you picked it up from them, even if it's a copy. Does that sound right that it was May 9th?
Yeah, about
Okay.
that time.
Why is this a receipt for 2 20s and 2 22s rather
Your
than
Honor.
4 24s?
Well, that's what happened was they charged me $425 for the 4 tires and the rims.
Then why are
They
you
g-
giving me a receipt for 275?
Okay, well, if I may.
No, you may answer the question I asked 15 minutes ago, which is, let me see the receipt from this company. And this is the last time I'm going to ask. So stop shoveling papers and saying fancy things like, if I may, if it please the court, because that's not going to win your case. Actually listening to me might win your case. So now I need you to give me the receipt from this company from when you paid them for tires and rims. It is a simple question. Mr. Grace, do you have the receipt from his original purchase?
Not with me, no.
Not with you. Why? Folks, you know you're in court, right? And not only that, you're on national television. And it's broadcast throughout the world. Like, who are you saving the originals for if not me? Did you pay $425 or $275? Because you keep handing me stuff that says $275.
The cost of the tires and rims, Your Honor, were $475.
Then why do you keep handing me stuff that says $275?
Because they gave me credit for the 4 tires and rims I had on my vehicle. They gave me $150.
Then show me something that buttresses your testimony that you were charged $425, but then got a credit. You keep showing me stuff that says $275.
That's what I paid at the end, $275 after the credit.
Okay. Did you guys give him some kind of credit for anything?
Pretty much, yeah. Like the rims that he had on his vehicle, we like took them and basically discounted.
Okay,
the
so
price of the
do you
service.
place a value on the rims that you take from his vehicle?
Yeah,
But why is that anywhere in the paperwork with him?
It might not be on. It should be on the receipt, to be honest.
So
with
what
you.
is
It
the
may not.
value of the rims? Because now, see, he's suing you. So he wants the value of what he gave you as well as what he paid for you to give to him. Correct. So how am I going to figure out what the value of those rims are?
Right. It's tough to say just because they do vary by the rim, and off the top of my head, I can't tell you.
Where do
how
you
much.
get $425?
Because that's what they wanted for their original tires and rims that I was buying from them.
So prove that. You have any documentation that proves what you just said?
No, other than that, what they gave me a sales receipt.
The sales receipt is for $275. Again, do you have anything for $425? This is the last time I'll ask.
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Okay, now let's move on. The $40 for new lug nuts, who paid those $40?
I had to pay it.
So you went to the place and got the longer
No,
lug nuts?
they went and got them.
They went and got them, and then you paid them $40 extra.
I reimbursed them for
Do you
them,
have
yes.
a receipt for those $40?
I do.
Let me see that. I can't read anything on this. Do you have a receipt that's readable?
That's the best. If you see it's got their credit card on it, I just wanted to establish that it was their credit card that they bought the lug nuts, and I reimbursed them for it.
No, I can't even see that much. I can't see whose credit card. And then you took a pen and wrote on it, which if you'd gone to law school, you know you don't doctor up the evidence. So now, was it $40 for the lug nuts?
Something like that.
All right. Now, according to you, it was a $242.05 tow from the expressway. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Then the repair, because your car just kept propelling, obviously it has forward motion.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the $1,308.02. Do you have the receipt for that?
I do.
Can I have that, please? Let me ask you while he's looking for stuff. I want you to find stop. I want you to find two things. I want you to find the $1,308.02 car repair receipt. I want you to find the car rental receipt and any receipts you have for gas. And then we'll get back to the issue of lost wages. Let me talk to you, though, Mr. Grace, okay? Did you actually do the work, or were you there when he came in?
No, so I did not do the work. I'm not one of the tire technicians. I was there. I believe I handled the transaction and everything with the gentleman. He kind of came in explaining to me originally that he was looking to sell the vehicle, so he was trying to put some better rims on the vehicle just to spice it up, maybe increase the value. We gave him our suggestions. I talked with the tire technician the gentleman he said he spoke with, and told him everything that he would need to do as far as putting those rims and wheels on the vehicle. We also tried to explain to him the risk that comes with putting bigger wheels on a car that aren't necessarily meant to be on there from the factory. You run into things like spacers and, like you said, lug nut extensions, which ultimately affect the drivability of a car. So we request customers to take the vehicle around, the block, take it on a test drive, bring it back, so you can make sure everything fits properly and everything's tightened up, of course.
Dude, the lug nut came out at 70 miles an hour on the expressway. He could be dead.
But he also declined to do that. He wasn't supposed to hop on to drive his car around to test.
Yeah, but there wouldn't have been a problem then. The problem happened on the expressway. Besides, you guys should drive it and make sure that everything is stable. But let's assume everything is stable.
Right.
It's stable beforehand, but then it's on the you guys should make sure that it's stable. Are you suggesting that people who put rims are assuming the risk that the lug nuts aren't torqued right and are going to fly off?
Well, in the case that I'm stating, yes, because we asked the customers to.
Now I understand why you didn't want the name of the company used, because you asked the customers to what?
To give the car a quick test drive.
Why don't you give it a test drive and make sure you've torqued it correctly?
I mean, you run into a lot of other legalities that you can run, issues that a customer can.
Did anybody ask you to drive around the block and come back and report how it was driving?
They asked me to take it down a couple blocks. They did.
And did you report how it was driving?
Well, I mean, it was at 25 miles an hour. I mean, it was no issue.
But then again, the vehicle shouldn't have been traveling at that speed before being checked. That's my whole point.
Wait, what?
The vehicle shouldn't have been traveling on the highway after or before being checked. That's
what do you mean? I mean,
okay,
to get to the highway, you have to drive. He doesn't live on the highway.
But
so what more checking is there? He's driving 20, he's driving 30, he's driving 40, he's driving 50. You have to get to 70. And the accident doesn't happen until 70.
I understand. I'm just saying it's not a self-check that we're asking the customers to do. We're asking them to drive the vehicle and bring it back.
Right, but bring it back to do what? He did drive the vehicle and everything was fine. There was nothing else to do. What else would you do if the guy brings it back and says everything's fine?
Evidently, it wasn't fine.
Well, but we don't know that until the next day at 70 miles an hour. And to get to 70 miles an hour, we have to be going 5, 10, 15, 20, and nothing was wrong, or he wouldn't risk his life at 70 miles an hour. So there was no warning, according to him.
But do you see how potentially checking that vehicle after the fact could have prevented
I don't understand how you check it other than driving it, and he did drive it, and everything was fine.
You would check it with the tools that you used to fix the car.
Wait, no, you would check it with the tools that you use to fix the car.
Exactly.
You would check it. He would say everything's fine, and you would say, great, I got my money, he got his product, and everything's fine. What else would he do before you let it go?
We never got the vehicle back.
What would you get it back for? You're paid, and you tell him if you have any drive around. If you have any problems, let us know. He didn't have any problems. What else is there?
That's not what we said, though.
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff says he almost died. His tire flew off his car when he was traveling down the highway at a very high speed, and says it is all the defendant's fault. But the defendant says that he did his job correctly and he's not responsible for an aftermarket rim that breaks. Let's Let's go back into the courtroom.
What did you say to him? Whether
said-
you have problems or not, come back because we want to play with it more?
It's the same thing he said. Yes, he was told.
You had already paid for it. You were done. I'm not buying it. He had already paid for it and you were done. Now what I'd like from you is the receipts for gas for the car rental.
I don't have that, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'll withdraw
And
that.
now
I'll withdraw that claim.
I would like your proof of lost wages.
I'm self-employed.
So you have no proof of lost wages.
No other than my.
So now I would like the car rental receipt. Because you are suing more for car rental than for car repair. You want $1,695 for car rental. You don't have the original?
No, Your Honor, I don't have the original of anything. I should have brought them. That was my fault.
Why are there different fonts on this?
I don't know, Your Honor. I didn't fill
Why
it out.
is there pen in this? There's two different inks. That might be the same ink.
That might have been something when I returned it.
Well, no, because this isn't the original, and I'm looking at ink. That means someone put ink on a copy. Why does it say Maui?
To say what?
Where did you rent the car?
In Cincinnati.
Why does it say Cruisin' Maui Rent-A-Car? Why does it say physical address
I
in
think that's their
Hawaii as
that's their-
one of the options? Physical address in Hawaii. Are you doctoring up a car rental in Maui?
No, Your Honor. I amazed me that's their corporate company. I don't know. That's what the guy gave me.
No, it's not. No, it's not. There's like 3 different kinds of fonts on this. Now you see why we have originals. You're getting 0 for car rental. You're getting 0 for gas for car rental. Let me tell you something. I would love to just say go home and you're done because it is so clear to me that you are lying to me by handing me something that says King's James Auto Group in Toledo, Ohio, even though you apparently live in Kentucky, and on the bottom it says Cruisin' Maui Rent-A-Car, and there's 3 fonts. Oh, you and I both know what this is. But I still got to do my job. Ain't that a bomb? Isn't it? Isn't that something? I still got to just actually do my job. And my actual job is that I find you guys liable for the tire coming off. I do, because who else is going to be? And no, they don't assume the risk that you're going to put it on in a way that's going to kill them and, more importantly, kill me. Because I didn't ask for your rims, and if I'm in the car next to him, my baby might be in the car, and you're going to hit us. That car's going to hit us. So, no, you got to do it in a competent manner where it's not going to fly off the next day. But it is your fault, or your company's fault, because you're the ones who didn't torque it correctly. And no, they don't assume the risk when they leave of death. Now, what have I seen support here for? I am seeing $748.02 repair the rear studs, lug nuts, and rotor. I see $360 for the wheel bearings. There's only one of the tires that he's out, and he still has the other tires and rims, so that's $106.25, plus the tow, plus the cost of 1/4 of the lug nuts, which is a total of $1,466.32. That is my verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff prevails, but he only gets about half of the $4,000 he wanted from the defendant. That didn't happen. Mr. Grace, this is kind of a tough day for you here. I know you probably haven't spent a lot of time in court, but you understand why the judge found against you guys?
Yeah, I guess I understand.
You put your customers' lives in danger if you aren't sure that you've done a good job.
Yeah, so, I understand. I guess that makes us responsible. It's kind of not the decision we wanted to hear today, but got to take it.
Okay. Sorry about that. Hope you guys learned something, and we'll do better next time with other customers. Mr. Arnold, you had a rough time.
Yes, I did.
You had a mountain of papers with you. You kept shuffling papers.
I guess I'm not a lawyer, am I?
No kidding. I felt sorry for you, to tell you the truth. What have you learned from all of this?
Well, I think what I've learned is that if you're having work done, to have it checked. I mean, to really go to a reputable establishment and, and make sure it's done right.
By the way, you brought all Xerox copies, a lot of Xerox copies.
Yes,
Did you monkey around with them at all?
No, I wouldn't do that. It's not my reputation and my integrity and morals are much above that.
You weren't trying to pull a fast one over on the court.
Wouldn't have no reason to do that.
All right. Well, you wanted $4,200. You didn't get that, but at least you did get a pretty significant amount of money.
I think
and you're still alive, so you're lucky.
Yes, but that tire's still at the bottom of the river.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we won't worry about that.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay. Good enough. Harvey?
Well, Doug, I mean, look, this is a case where we've talked about issues like this before. The reason the plaintiff won is that the tire flew off shortly after the defendant was dealing with it and had control of it. The longer the time lapses between the time it leaves the repair shop and the incident like this occurs, the harder it is to prove your case. In this case, the time was so compressed that it was pretty clear that it was the defendant's fault.
When I bought a car, the seller told us it had an intake manifold problem. I bought the car as is and took it to a mechanic and found out it was a head gasket problem. The car needs a new motor. Can I get my money back since the problem is different from what the seller mentioned?
That's going to be tough because an as-is sale is an as-is sale.
And old cars have lots of things wrong with them.
Right, and they do. And the seller may not know what's wrong with them. So
Right.
unless you can prove that a specific warranty was violated, such as I just put in a new motor and then you find out, no, he
Right.
didn't.
That's obviously deceptive. A lie.
But you have no business accepting from him what is wrong with the car. When you're
Right.
buying a used car,
Right.
spend the extra whatever and have a mechanic look at it.
Right, well, the questioner
or take
says-
it, or don't, and then take the consequences.